Climbers, how in the hell are Johnny and Brent going to motivate you and enlighten you about your artist career talking about Daredevil Production's corporate accounts? Yawn. Well, y'all are more alike than you want to believe, and this one is going to bring some perspective. And at the end, I'm going to share this really killer marketing epiphany that I just had that's like gold, okay? So you're going to want to listen to the end. So get your popcorn. Welcome to the climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. Leverage is what it's going to take, guys. We have to become artists and business people to get the momentum as a writer, as an artist, that you're going to need for these people to come out of the woodwork and help you. They're not going to pluck you from obscurity. You're going to have to show them that you can do it. But the good news is you don't need anybody's permission. That's why we call it the climb. C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. It's a backronym for my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is not only a good friend and not only a kind soul and not only a hit songwriter, but he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then on the regular, he completes the circle by getting you opportunities, always getting opportunities to get in front of the pros. You can find Brent at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. If you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That is production, singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other. Johnny D.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm just totally excited to hear about your corporate clients. That's great.
Yeah, just shoot me in the head right now.
That's great. That's why I got in the music business, because I loved my cubicle so much. I want to hear more.
Well, this is funny because, one of the other things that we've been doing at Daredevil is, and it gets even more boring. It starts to sound even more boring than what you're joking about, right? Is life insurance, okay? But the life insurance industry is it's very, very similar to the music business. In the fact that they both are trying to market their products, they've been doing it the same way for the last 75 to 100 years.
Yeah.
And so there's, huge opportunities. Now, life insurance doesn't have the crisis that the music business has, in the sense that, I mean, let's be honest, I think in the next 5 years, the radio stations are going to start to drop like flies. They're just not.
And so are most of the life insurance clients as America ages.
Let's
So
hope
it's like
not
there
the
are
next 5
opposite
years,
trends
right?
going on, right? We're gonna have to pay out a lot, I guess.
But what we're doing with the life insurance industry is the same thing that we're doing in the music business, right?
Mhm.
And we're taking them over to digital, and we're creating and in the life insurance business, we've done this. We've created a repeatable, dependable, reliable pipeline. Okay, that's so repeatable, so dependable, and it's been working for the last 2.5 years with multiple different agencies. That the independent marketing organization that kind of took us on this journey is literally investing now in scaling this up in a very, very big way with very, very real money. And it's going to revolutionize how they frickin' sell life insurance, And the thing is about life, and just on a quick little side note, interesting fact, 61% of all the life insurance in the United States is owned by the wealthiest 1%. Okay, so life insurance is, to put this in perspective, the music business was always like a $75 billion a year industry, and then it got crushed in the late 20 teens 2017 it would shrunk like 80% to 15 billion, and like we
Mhm.
predicted on this podcast, it's expanded now beyond 75 billion. Last count was about 131 billion. We're probably reaching closer to 140 to 150 billion. Life insurance is $1 trillion industry every year with the
Wow.
T. That's 1,000 billion. Okay. And that
Yeah.
means that 3.3 million people own over $610 billion worth of life insurance. So it's not, there's something else to it. It's not just about a death benefit, right?
Okay.
So anyway, I'm dealing to scale this up. We got to deal with these agencies, and the stuff that I'm dealing with these agencies, the same crap that I'm dealing in terms of like professionalism, and
Mhm.
I don't mean that they're unprofessional, but they look unprofessional.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is kind of go through down this checklist and just get you guys. It's time to like the conversation I had with Amber Hayes, who's the senior vice president of this independent marketing organization. That they're the life insurance broker, right? She's also a freaking artist. She's an amazing artist.
I've written with her.
Yeah,
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 years ago.
you have.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. She's been singing since she was 8 years old. She's been on a couple feature films. I mean, she's like a freaking star. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And we traveled around the world on the talent in her voice, and super, super smart. But we were talking about, hey, how do we scale this out with these agents? And because they're a lot like independent artists, they're independent agents,
Mhm.
and we're like, well, I said they got to get their big boy pants on, their big girl pants on, and we got to stop cutting corners. And we can find inexpensive ways to look really good. So that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. But before we do that,
Cool.
let's take care of some business. Join the Climb community if you haven't already on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/the Climb community. And every Wednesday we got wins, man. We like to share those. So let's talk about it. This is a community, by the way, that's thriving all the time. What Brent's gonna share with you right now is just a couple of a boatload of wins that we have every single Wednesday, meaning
Mhm.
that people in the community actually comment and participate and hang out in the community. This is not like a tumbleweed ghost town that so many Facebook groups are. So go ahead, Brent. Lay,
Yeah,
lay,
so
lay some gospel on us right here with the climb
that's well,
gospel.
speaking of which, yes, so in the Climb community, every Wednesday we post New Heights. It's because Climb New Heights, it's a whole thing, right? And it's where we encourage you to come celebrate your wins with us so we know where to find them and we can celebrate with you, and people do. And let's see, let's share a couple
And
of
we
these.
do. On the show, we celebrate your wins with you.
That's right. And in the community, they do too. So Sunday Joe Graham says, spent Monday creating content for my upcoming release of Jesus in Time. What? Creating content before the release? Sunday Joe, you must be a climber.
Somebody's been listening. Somebody's been paying attention. Sonny Joe, I'm just telling you right now, if you're listening to this, you can probably just turn your radio off, turn your podcast off, because I think you might already have this licked, but maybe there's a nugget in there that you haven't tackled already. So
That's
maybe keep it on. But I'm so proud to hear that. Good job, Sonny Joe.
That's great. And also, she says, playing a showcase in St. Louis tonight with some of my fellow NSAI peeps, including the amazing climber, Kathy Wallace.
Nice.
And she's getting great feedback on the story behind the song video that she put together. So she includes a link to that, finished a couple co-writes and some new ones with some new writers coming up. And you have folks like Randy Maynor and James Kelso giving her Atta Girls. So that's really cool. Let's see here. Here's another one from climber Paula Harden. Says, me and my co-writer played 2 songs at our NSAI meeting. Everyone clapped and nobody threw up. So I think that's a great accomplishment.
Good job, Paul.
So good job, Paula.
There's I know we did a song title challenge as one of her titles. Is that dropped yet, or is that coming on?
I don't know. I
It
don't
might not
remember.
have dropped yet. Maybe I don't know. I
I
can't
do
remember.
not know. If not, keep listening. Keep
Yeah.
listening. So yeah, a lot of good wins. We have other stuff in there. We can't don't even have time for them all. So this is fun. But thank y'all. Congratulations and keep on climbing.
There you go. Yeah. So hey, make sure you follow or subscribe to the podcast, and most importantly, tell a friend about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are still here, I mean, we still have like record days of people binging stuff. So they don't do that because they're trying to. They have a Johnny and Brent outreach program, and they're trying to make us feel good.
Huh.
They're doing it for their damn selves, and so that means there's some value in there. Tell somebody about it. Let them know. All right. So, like I said, get your popcorn, guys. This is. I'm gonna be a little brutal on this because it just
Are we
we're
going to
still
need to take out life insurance? Are you going to be that brutal?
well, no, it just I guess through the life insurance thing, like having to deal with this, I kept thinking about artists. Why is
Yeah.
that? Why am I working on a corporate, huge, huge corporate project? I mean, like 25 or 30 agencies, right? We're
Mhm.
scaling up to like simultaneously. So this is a big digital marketing project, guys, where um, they were driving traffic to a webinar that is specifically aimed at a niche audience of business owners, right? So this is
Okay.
like a B2B thing, number one,
Mhm.
not a B2C thing. It's not to go into consumers, which we also do that in insurance, but this big project we're scaling is B2B. And this company, this independent marketing organization that Amber Hayes, the vice president of, they also sell like benefit plans for small businesses, right? So
Mhm.
401ks, IRAs, profit sharing plans, stuff like that. And this sector is horribly underserviced, right? Like the average company switches out plans every 3 years because some agent comes in and sells it and they don't back it up. And these guys have way better service and all this, but um, they've got all the value bomb content. It's a brilliant marketing program, but we're having to scale up uh, like the integration of all these different technologies and sales funnels for like 25 or 30 different agencies and branded sales funnels, right?
Mhm.
So their coloring, it's their logo, it's their stuff. Um, Sort of at the beginning and the end of the video, but the videos, it's the same video content, right? So
Yeah.
it's a very inexpensive way. It's genius. So what do I need to make that happen are the same things that I need from artists when we're trying to work with artists, and I'm running into the same problems with agents that that is that's happening. So I mean, at the top level here, guys, I think too many artists are looking for a quick fix. Agents are the same, right? They want like one lead source, the magic lead source, the magic beans,
Mhm.
where they make every phone call and it turns into a deal. And you guys want one answer to solve your marketing problems and to get your music heard enough so that you can play in front of an audience and they're gonna love you and respond, right? And
Yeah.
get enough streams and do all this stuff. And in my last episode 2 weeks ago, we talked about getting on the Spotify algorithm
Mhm.
and staying on the Spotify algorithm, which is this is important. This is important for money making, and it's an important part of getting the maximum amount of distribution. But it's not. It doesn't help with the marketing, right? It doesn't help with branding. Like nobody knows who you are
Mhm.
unless you're also branding. So the idea of a quick fix, the one answer to solve all your problems and turn you into a profitable artist, trust me, if you're looking for that, you're gonna find a million of them.
Mhm.
Will they work? No, they never work.
All right.
Why? Because there's no quick fix. Marketing and promotion is sophisticated. It's not as sophisticated as music theory or the circle of fifths or dealing with your significant other, right? But it's way more complex than an easy button that makes you a household name so you can just focus on the music creation. It doesn't work that way.
In other words, if I can just get on The Voice, if I can just get on get some radio play, if I can
Yeah.
just open for so and so, boom,
Your
rocket
problems will be
takes off,
solved.
right?
No,
Yeah.
no, no, and hey, in Nashville, it seems to me like Nashville is the repository for, like, the Voice contestants, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many of them that live here. There's so many of them that we know, and
Mhm.
there's so many of them that you have no idea who they are. And by the way, side note, there's a guy that I wanna bring on that is a voice contestant that
Mhm.
did do really well, who's actually friggin' crushing it, right?
Hmm.
And turned it into a $250,000 or better business, because he just realized, like, okay, what I got from this is a boatload of exposure that I have to capitalize on,
Mhm.
which is consistent work. But this isn't going to make me famous, right? Like it just gets you an incredible amount of exposure. It's important. It's good. Just
Mhm.
don't overestimate it, right? So, um, so there's multi levels to this, and the bottom line is you have to be a business person too. Okay.
Mhm.
And the most successful mainstream media artists are the best at business, U2, right?
Mhm.
The Stones.
Mhm.
Madonna. These people are masters on the right side of their brain,
Mhm.
as they are artistically on the
I
left side of their brain.
I remember a Jimmy Buffett, either from his autobiography or something where, he has this reputation, the branding of the beach bum, not working hard, just having a ball. And he says after shows, he'd lock the door to his hotel room, hoping people wouldn't walk in and catch him going through all the receipts and all the paperwork because he didn't want to
Yeah.
blow his image.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, you have to. I mean, was it Oprah Winfrey? You got to sign your own checks, man.
Mhm.
It sounds all glamorous and everything like that when you get at the top, but Oprah, by the way, she didn't learn that lesson from her parents. She didn't know that growing up. She figured that out the hard way.
Mhm.
Billy Joel, same thing. Sign your own checks. What's this for? Oh, don't worry about that. That's a little something, something we're doing. No, no, no. What is this? Oh,
Yeah.
uh, or yeah, you're fired. You're done. You're done. Right.
Mhm.
So you got to flex the business muscle. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make that muscle sore. Then you're going to regroup. You're going to refine. You're going to relaunch. But this is something that you can accomplish. And I'm just seeing like all the different pain points here with the scaling up of this whole corporate thing that we're doing. And it's so similar. I wanted to share it. So it's time to clean up and get your shop in order, get your house in order. You guys, everything I'm about to mention here on this listicle, you must have in house. Even if you have a team that's running it, it has to be run from your house. All the spokes have to come from the same place. If you don't, if you get lazy and, somebody says, "Hey, I can do this for you," and then all of a sudden it's set up, but you don't have control over it, it's going to come back and it's going to bite you in the ass.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's start with website issues, right?
Mm.
I need the website is your storefront. Okay. And if I think so many artists here think that once they get that big break, then they're going to get some money. And when they get some money, then that's when they're going to like put some attention on all this stuff we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
Right. But here's the problem. It's kind of like it's almost a loose corollary to tithing, Brent, because you've mentioned this before. Like, if you
Okay.
don't tithe when you're poor,
Oh,
you're not going to tithe when you're rich, right?
right.
It's a muscle that you have to flex. Well, guys, if you don't do what we're doing, talking about right now, my concern isn't that you're not going to get a break because of it. It's that you are going to get a break, and this is the crap they're going to see.
Mhm.
And then how does that make you look? Like extremely unprofessional, right? You
Right.
you don't want to look like a small town little artist on the beginning of their journey. You want to look like a national act. That's
Mhm.
what you want to look like. And then when you get a break and all of a sudden a bunch of people look at it, let me tell you something. The pros that you want to work with are going to look at some of this stuff and in less than 2 seconds, they're going to be like, "Okay, we already know what this is."
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't even get a chance. Your personality doesn't get a chance. You look like a tool. And so they know you're not professional, you
Mhm.
know? So your website is your storefront. It's not expensive to make it look halfway decent, but it does require your attention. One way or the other, whether it's monetary attention and you find somebody, or whether it's I am not a web developer by any stretch of the imagination, but I did build the Daredevil Production website.
Mhm.
Could it be better? Yes. Is it horrific looking? No. I mean, it's not bad looking, right?
Mhm.
It's not bad. It took me some time, but there's things I need to improve. There's things I want to improve, but man, there's some horrible websites out there that just look terrible, right? Like, and go down a major label artist list and go look at their websites. Go look at your favorite artists' websites. That's the way yours should look. So
Mhm.
make it happen, right? It's a theme. It's not that difficult. It's become so freaking easy now. Brent, um, how quickly did you it wasn't easy, but how quickly did you kind of scale up like on ClickFunnels?
ClickFunnels, it happened pretty quickly. My website, Songwriting Pro, which used to be Freddie, is built
Right.
on this somewhat obscure platform. When I got a hold
Right.
of it, it took a long time just because I didn't take the time to get things kind of changed over and updated. But once I got a hold of ClickFunnels, that integrated easily into my site. And really, the best looking pages on my site for the most part are the ClickFunnels pages.
And ClickFunnels is like a web page builder that's like
Hmm.
specifically for marketing. So it's not you're not going to use ClickFunnels to build your website. So don't confuse this.
Hmm.
But here's my point is that what ClickFunnels did, I see a lot of other platforms doing. This kind of made me think about this yesterday because I got a brand new gift from heaven with this super smart new intern, right? Who came in late to the game. Johnny, I want to work with you. Is referred by a former intern that we had. It's his girlfriend is the former intern. Uh, and this kid is freaking so smart. And everything now has become so intuitive, right? So
Hmm.
there are, when I was coming up, like websites were this anomaly, man. It was like crazy. It was like, you had to spend a bunch of money to get somebody to do it. They suck at business because they're
Hmm.
artists, right? And
Right.
and you don't get what you want, and it's just horrible. But it's kind of like the same way that you build those pages, Brent, on ClickFunnels, which is again specifically for marketing stuff. But ClickFunnels, one of their missions was to like do battle with websites in a certain way, right?
Hmm.
So it is it's very intuitive like this. So, the CRM that we use is called Aweber. You've switched over that now, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's your
And so
contact re
CRM for No Climber Left Behind is what? Customer relationship management.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
the email.
So, it's yeah, it stores all the email content. This is where you can do email blasts. This is where you can do sales funnels. Well, the same sort of software setup that allows you to build an email within Aweber is would you agree it's similar to ClickFunnels, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot
It's
of
the
drag
same
and
kind of thing.
drop.
There's like
You
3
can.
levels. There's the background level, then there's the column level, and then there's the element level. Like, what's in the column? Is it a video? Is it a
Mhm.
what kind of content? Is it text? Is it so it's so like I'm teaching this kid, this intern, how to do, these he's gotta brand all these sales funnels, and, like, literally, I showed him once, and he already got it, right? Like, it was just so intuitive for him. And he's just,
Mhm.
"Oh, I already did that." I'm like, "Well, what about this?" He's like, "I already did it." I'm like, "Oh, son of a bitch, you did. Look at that. Awesome." And this is the way websites are now. Like the new platform I have, not it's not a platform, it's on WordPress, but
Mhm.
the new theme I have is this it's built the same way. It's for morons like us so we can build cool shit. You know what I mean? Like it's so guys, it's my point is your website can look way better. It doesn't have to cost a fortune, but if you put attention on it, if you go down this rabbit hole and say, I'm not
Mhm.
coming back up out of this rabbit hole until I've figured out how to create forward progress on my website my damn self, right?
Mhm.
Then uh, before you know it, your website's going to be halfway finished and it's going to look way better. Okay. Next, social media. You should have only one as a brand. You should have only one of each social media account. Okay. So, I mean, if you have an artist name, a social media, like an Instagram for your artist name and a personal Instagram, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about like more than one Instagram account for your artist name, or
Mhm.
more than one Instagram or more than one YouTube account for your artist name. And this crap happens all the freaking time.
Hmm.
Okay. So on social media, only one account each. Your marketing promotion sucks right now. So if you got like 3 YouTube channels because you don't want to eliminate the other 2 because you got like 20,000 video views and you don't want to lose those, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Forget about it. You're doing more damage by holding on to those, which is a vanity play, right? You're not going to tip the scales. You're not going to, you know, you're not going to reach a tipping point and be shy 20,000 video views and regret deleting those other 2 accounts
Mhm.
that you can't get rid of, right? Why do you have 3 accounts? There's a number of reasons. Okay, we're going to cover those in just a split second. But get rid of it because again, what happens when you get that big break? What happens when you play maybe it's a small local break, but you play in front of a national act, in front of 700 people, a sold out crowd, at a club, and
Mhm.
they're all going to go look at you on YouTube. And where are they going to find you? If there's 3 frickin' YouTube accounts with your name on it, they don't know where to go, and they got different content on them.
Right.
You
So either
can't.
way you're gonna do, you're leaving dead end roads on the map
Yes.
there for people to go down and get frustrated, because either you're gonna triple your work and duplicate your work on all 3 of each of those 3 channels, right? So, like, well, I don't wanna lose any of these, so I'm gonna put the same videos up on all 3 channels, which triples your work, and you're not getting triple the results. You
Right.
need to simplify and
You're
streamline.
not. And of course, you're not gonna do triple the work. You're not even doing enough work now. You know
Right.
what I mean? None of you are. So so get rid of it. You want one YouTube channel, one Instagram channel, one Facebook channel, one TikTok channel, right? Like you need a one of each, and that's it. Okay? Now, why are you having problems? Why do you have 3 YouTube channels? Well, you're having issues deleting old accounts because your ex has the passwords and won't share them because they want to punish you. Figure it out. Okay? Do whatever you have to do. Lose the battle, get rid of the old YouTube accounts.
Mhm.
Okay? This is your problem. You created this problem because you trusted somebody else to set up your account, right? Most
Yep.
likely because you were lazy and you didn't want to do it yourself. So your ex said, "Hey, I'll do it." And they used their email,
Mhm.
right? And now you've got a problem, right? Because now you can't post up because they changed the password on you. And so
Right.
you can't access it. And so you had to create a new YouTube account, right? And then you did that with some other email address that you have. Okay. So uh, here's the deal, always make sure your artist social media and your SaaS platforms, that's software as a service. So that's Feature FM, right? That's PicMonkey, that's MailChimp, that's Canva, that's Spotify, that's all of these things that they all the usernames need to be tied to your email addresses and nobody else's. No excuses. This sounds basic, doesn't it?
Pretty much,
Why am I bitching about it? Well,
because it's
because
often.
it happens early and often, right?
Right.
Why do we have? Why do I, when I search you, do I find 3 of the? Well, what happened was, but no, clean
Mm.
this shit up, figure it out. I don't know how to do it. Like, figure it out.
Mhm.
It's you're muddying the waters for what little traffic you have,
And
making
the
it
longer you
impossible.
wait, the messier it's gonna be, because you're just gonna have more views on that other thing. You're gonna have more people that are used to going to that site, that channel, that platform, instead of the one you want them to.
That's exactly right.
Rip that Band-Aid off. It's gonna save you more trouble down the road.
Go through the hassle with trying to do support with YouTube or
Mhm.
Instagram or somebody and say, look, this has to go, right? Get rid of it. If somebody opens some sort of account for you, okay, that's awesome. That's great. Immediately switch that email address on that account over to an email address that you use
Mhm.
to ensure that you will always have control of that. Okay. Don't let that go. Okay. Because, whether it's an ex or whether it's somebody on your team, a friend or whatever, man, you're not going to be together forever. Right. But you
Mhm.
need to be on that platform forever. So if your significant other helps you out, that's often. But if and when the breakup happens, change all your passwords immediately.
Mhm.
Right? Immediately. If things are going south, if you think you're going to break up with them, change the friggin' passwords so that they're locked out. If it's on your email that you have access to and the passwords are changed, they can't do damage to you, even accidentally. I'm not saying everybody's evil, but they, maybe something happened and they had some issue that they were trying to use it for. And then they just changed it. And I had that happen with one of the agents,
Mhm.
like a brand new Calendly account we set up. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't access your Calendly thing. I got a whole team of people. The wheels are turning, right? I got 4 interns on this, like a team of
Mhm.
people ready to devour this agent's work that we have to do to set them up, and everything stops because we don't have a friggin' password. Oh, I changed something yesterday. I can't remember what it was. Okay, well, change the password and give me the new password. Like
Right.
now, let's go. Chop chop, right? So uh make sure you change all those passwords. This is your artist career. Don't put your brand, your time investment, your content, your storefront, your analytics, don't put them in jeopardy because you feel that if, changing a password could be construed as a provocative, hostile move in a love relationship. Change them, period. It's your brand. You have to
Yeah.
have control of it. Okay. Stop switching email addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I've had the same personal Gmail address for 20 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never saw a reason to change it. Okay.
Right.
I've had the same business email address, Johnny at daredevilproduction.com, for over a decade. All right. Stop doing stupid shit online that makes you have to change your emails. Okay. Don't change your emails. You can block people from your email address if an ex is blowing you up or doing something weird or a stalker or everybody's got some excuse of why they had to switch
Mm-hmm.
email addresses. Stop it. Keep the same email addresses. That's another reason why people have multiple accounts. Well, this is an old email address. I don't use it anymore. I lost access to it and I can't remember the login. So I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Come on, guys. So there it is. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, one account only. All right. Passwords. Let's talk about passwords. Insurance and artists alike, insurance agents and artists alike can't remember the passwords to all the different platforms they're going to use, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
remember them. Create a list and know your passwords for all of your social media, for all of wherever your website is hosted. Okay. Now, sometimes your website is hosted on one platform, but your domain is hosted on another, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
Brent Baxter music is website is hosted on GoDaddy, but your domain, brentbaxtermusic.com, is hosted somewhere else because that was the first thing that came up in Google when you searched for domains. And you went to this other third party place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay if it's on a different place, but you better know where your website's hosted and how to get in there and
Yes.
where your domain is hosted and how to get in there. And again, all your SaaS platforms, software as a service, right? That's Aweber, that's Mailchimp, that's PicMonkey, that's
Mm-hmm.
Canva, that's Spotify for artists, right? These are all tools that you use on a regular basis, and you need to have access for them, or your team
Mm-hmm.
needs to have access. That's another thing. I get hired; they're paying me money to be on their team, and they can't tell me how to get in a freaking platform I'm supposed to be working.
Right.
You're wasting money, right? Because inevitably our relationship's going to end. Why? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
going to think I'm an idiot because I can't get any work done. Well, I can't get any work done because you're the idiot, and I can't get in your freaking platform because you can't remember the password,
Mm-hmm.
right? So create a master file somewhere, guys. Right? Like I think there's like you can have a free super low cost Dropbox um, account. Like I have like Mac Daddy Dropbox, like $1,000 a year, but I have
Yeah.
unlimited. So, but I think there's a free one that gives you like, 2 gigabytes of storage, just some sort of cloud maybe it could be a Google Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
or I mean, there's lots of different, it doesn't have to be Dropbox, but you've got something on the cloud, create a master file in Excel, have all of your social media platforms and all of your SaaS platforms up there, have the username, have the password.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to change the password, which happens often,
Mm-hmm.
then you change it in the master file. Then you always
Yes.
know. And you can't lose it. If the hard drive goes bad, you're not screwed, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the it's always going to be
If
there.
you
And
drop
it's
your phone in the
very
toilet,
yeah, yes, exactly.
yes.
which they've even gotten around that now. I think you can drop your phone, the new iPhones, in the toilet, and they're going to be okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So
Figure my plans for the weekend.
make sure you do that. Now, let's talk about how you look, right? Your graphics. Okay. So one of the things I'm doing for these agencies is at the bottom of every email, and we're talking about a sales funnel that has it's going to go on for like 6-7 months sales funnel.
Okay.
Okay. So you're like 35 emails because the first 7 are a day apart, right? Like 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 7 days. And then it's a week apart, right? And there's like
Okay.
25. So it's like, yeah, so it's like 6, 7 months of email content that's value bomb, right? Like, hey, here's something else. Here's something else you didn't know about the new 401k changes that you need to know. So if you have one in place, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're thinking about starting a 401k, you need to know this. Okay. Like, okay, great. I'm gonna read that email. Okay. Well, at the bottom of each one of those emails, uh, there are, follow me, right? Like all their social media links. So some agents don't have any social media, right?
Mhm.
Some agents have a Facebook page, but it's, horrifically um, ignored, right?
Mhm.
Abandoned. And some of them have like multiple, like there's one I was working with she's got a YouTube, she's got Facebook, and she's got Instagram.
Okay.
So good for her. So I have to go cop those links, right? So that the buttons below, the follow us buttons
Mhm.
below are active. Those links are active.
In the
So
email.
right, right. So it's like it's like a Facebook. You've seen them on your on any email. It's like a Facebook logo and an Instagram logo and a
Mhm.
YouTube logo. Or no, it wasn't Instagram. It's LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I go to click on these to go get it, and the graphics are horrible. Like her logo, only like 1/4 of her logo is in the freaking header
Mhm.
because it's too big, right?
Right.
So, guys, in 5 seconds, you can Google search and get an infographic on all the image sizes, aka the image aspect ratios for social media headers.
Mhm.
Okay, so do it, right? There is absolutely no excuse for having a crappy header. Ideally, you want a picture of you up there, or at least the logo of the band and a picture of the band, or if you as an artist, a media approved image of you as the artist with your logo that's sized correctly for Twitter's header, which is 1500 by 500, right?
Mhm.
That's sized correctly for Facebook header, that's sized correctly for, blah, 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 right? Make sure all those look good, okay? And make sure all your social media has the right image with the right size. This again, your storefront.
Mhm.
All right. So, if something happens, God forbid you have a song that blows up on Spotify and then some people start looking for you and you just look like a rookie.
Yep.
Stop it. Okay. All right. So that's the end of the rant. Let's talk about this epiphany I had. Dude,
All right.
this is fucking good. Okay. So,
He's so excited he's rubbing his face.
for
Okay.
a long time we've been when we run campaigns, we'll run campaigns to cold audiences. Let's say we take a music video, we're going to promote this music video, right? So we're going to
Mhm.
run to a cold audience, and that's going to be somewhat targeted, right, on digital ads. And I'm putting this music video in the feeds of people. That's what a digital ad is. I'm going
Mhm.
to pay to get into your feed and put
Right.
this in there, and then you're going to watch it, right? Well, once you watch it, I can see how long you watched it for, right?
Mhm.
If you watched it for 3 seconds, if you watched it for 15 seconds, if you watched it 25% of the way through, 50%, 75, 100%. Um, and then now you've seen something from the artist, and that makes you a warm audience, right? And there's different
Okay.
degrees of warmth, okay? So I've always been just sort of kicking around like what we did with these agencies, right? So I told you at the beginning of this that we had created this pipeline that is repeatable and dependable with these
Mhm.
life insurance agencies, right? Like
That's right.
the first one I built, y'all, the agent was a rock star salesperson, sold, got $1 million in commissions in 2019. We doubled that in 2020. He got $2 million in commissions in
Nice.
2020. going completely digital, and everybody was calling him instead of him calling everybody, right?
Mhm.
Completely changed everything. So, and we've done it multiple times now to the point where the IMO, the marketing agency, saying we're going to invest in these agencies to get them on track because they're not very good business people typically, right? They're great
Right.
agents, maybe some of them are great salespeople, but it's another skill set to be a good business person, which
Okay.
all artists have to be too, right?
Yeah.
And you teach that for songwriters. There's the business of songwriting as
That's
part
right.
of your pitch, right? There's you have to understand how this works. So, one of the things like we've heard get to 1,000 super fans, right? I think that's
Mhm.
something people have understood, right? You get to 1,000 super fan being somebody spends $100 a year with you, that's $100,000 of revenue. All of a sudden, you got a business.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
got some cash flow, right? Are you keeping all that money? No, because you got to spend all this money on software and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But this is cash flow, man. Cash flow makes a big difference, right? So, and you've heard about all these different ways that people are trying to get emails. Okay, like artists are trying to get emails. Like in
Mhm.
the insurance world, it's easy. Wait, we put on a webinar that's
Right.
going to teach you something that you need to know, that you want to know, right? Either we're
Mhm.
scaring the crap out of you about a new tax law if it's a B2C thing, or in the B2B thing, it's like, hey, if all the rules just changed on
Mhm.
IRAs, 401ks, profit sharing, you need to know what's changed, whether you've got one or not, you need to know. And we're going to show you in half an hour on this webinar, no cost, register here. What happens when you register?
They get your email address.
Get your email address, right?
Mhm.
So, Rick Barker's came out with the 5 downloads of songs to exchange for the email address, and,
Mhm.
too many artists are like, "Join my newsletter," right? I saw an agent that had that banner across the top of, "Click here to sign up for our newsletter." It's like, click here to get cancer. Click here to bring back AIDS. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's like, no, thank you.
No.
No, I
Pass.
don't need it. However, I will tell you that like my number one clients that I'm financial, uh, they do a newsletter like every month. They send out this newsletter, and she's
Mhm.
got stuff in there about her kids and all that stuff. She stopped doing that a couple months ago because she got kind of sick of it, and she didn't think anybody gave a crap about it. And there's some hostility. Right? So, do they wanna sign up for the newsletter? No, but
No.
once they begin to know, like, and trust you, they wanna know,
Mhm.
and they don't wanna know that it's a newsletter, right? So, it's an interesting dynamic. So, this is all the sort of the buildup and this epiphany that I had, right?
Okay.
So, straight up, um, one of the things we've been doing is, once I can see that you've watched that video for a certain amount of time, you become a warm audience. And now I'm running a second campaign where I'm spending money to constantly reach that warm audience because
Mhm.
what I'm doing is trying to replicate what terrestrial radio does and when people listen to terrestrial radio, why it worked, right? And it was the repetition factor, okay?
Mhm.
Except for on digital, we can't do it with the same content, right? I can't just keep showing you the same video over and over again because you're just gonna like eventually gonna report me
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
after the third time, like enough already. So we have to create all kinds of micro content. We've talked about this in the podcast, but that micro content, that repetition is happening to the warm audience,
Mhm.
right, as well. So in terrestrial radio, like if you just think about how, heavy rotation works, you keep hearing the same song over and over. It's pounding the person who's not familiar with the brand name, with the artist, over and over and over again until finally they hear the song enough where they're like, "Who's that artist? I like that." And it
Mhm.
turns them into a potential fan, right? And you start to
Mhm.
listen to the music more. But the other thing that people forget is that repetition over and over and over again turns them it reminds the new fans, or I'm sorry, it reminds the current fans in that market that, "Hey, this artist has a new song out," right?
Right.
Like, I love Metallica. Oh, here's this song that just keeps they keep pounding me over the head with it
Mhm.
on radio. So it's the one of the most important factors of digital marketing is to be pounding the warm audience with repeated content, like every week something new. And like when Sunday Joe at the beginning of this episode was creating content,
Mhm.
God bless her. She's listening, right? She
Yeah.
understands. Like, okay, I'm going to sync this song to like a bunch of different content and push it out and make sure that I'm ready to go. So, um, how do we identify like the super fans, right? So there are other ways like on the Facebook ads platform and all the other digital platforms are similar, but I'm just going to use Facebook ads as an example to identify like the warm audience. I told you
Mhm.
one where I can see how long you watched a music video for.
Right.
I can create an audience from people that have ever interacted in any way, shape, or form with your Facebook
Mhm.
account, right? If they've liked it, if
Mhm.
they've read a post, if they've commented, if they've reacted,
Mhm.
if they've shared it, if they've saved it, right? Same thing with Instagram, right? Anybody that's reacted with it. So this is, we're going to make sure that everybody that's familiar with you is getting a constant flow of information,
Mhm.
right? Of new content.
Yeah.
Um, well, then I was looking at this artist that we're working with Sydney Cheryl, and I just noticed, like, I just was like, man, I wonder if we can go and target specifically people who like saved a post. So we're pushing out content through paid ads. People are
Mhm.
seeing this content in their feed because we're paying to put it in their feed. And when they see it and they like it, that's great. I can tell they like it by how long they watched it, right? But
Mhm.
if they like it and they save it, that's a different level.
Yeah, it is. That's a whole different level.
So now on Facebook, you can go in and you can create an audience of people just from people who saved a post
Mhm.
or an ad in the last whatever 60 days, 90 days, 30 days, however you want to make that happen. Okay. So then we talked about ClickFunnels, right? And for those of you guys, that's like I'll create in the corporate world, I'll create registration page to go see that webinar we were just talking about, like on ClickFunnels. It allows
Mhm.
me to put a page together really freaking fast and to put all this functionality in there, right? So it's like when you click yes, I want to register, it jumps to the Stealth Seminar platform where they can register for the webinar and then
Mhm.
consume it, right?
Right.
Brent, we've used this for your sales stuff. I've used this for my challenge stuff, right? Hey,
Mhm.
register here and I can if I want to take money on that, I can take money on that, right? If
Mhm.
I just want them to register, whatever. So imagine so here's the epiphany. On the warm audiences, obviously we've been pushing out the content to create that repetition in those feeds for
Mhm.
the people that have been there, right?
Right.
But now I'm like, okay, if we create an audience just from the people who saved,
Mhm.
which is a whole nother level of
Interest.
interest, and we have a different message for them, right? Like
Mhm.
a very artist specific message. Like, hey, y'all, this is Josh Roy, and I'm sending this message out because I noticed that you like saved one of our posts recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you. And
Sorry
this
for
means the
being
world.
creepy, but thank you.
Yeah, sorry for being creepy, but hey, man, I know you did it, and I just want to say thank you. Obviously, that meant enough for you to save it. I don't know if you saved it for
Mhm.
yourself or saved it for somebody else, but hey, here's a link. I want you
It's
to
something
register.
I've saved for you.
Yeah, well, how about like sort of backstage access to the artist, right?
Yeah.
So hey, man, once a week in a private Facebook group, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna be doing like a live performance and interacting with my insider group, whatever you're gonna call them, right?
Yeah.
Like Gaga calls them her little monsters, right?
Yeah.
I think, or whatever. And um, everybody's got the name for their fans, right? So, so you say, hey, so here's a link, and you can join the group. And man, we're going to take requests. We're going to just hang out, and we're
Mhm.
going to do stuff. But it's exclusively only for people that save this. By the way, when you do it, you're going to get an automatic free download of something, so sort of special remix or some sort of special acoustic performance
Mhm.
that only people who've saved posts get, right? So there's a velvet rope, there's an exclusivity there.
Mhm.
There's no cost to this. Just sign here and register to get it, and then we're going to send you a link to the private Facebook group.
Mhm.
And hey, man, if you can't make the live performances, they're recorded. They're going to stay up there. You can go check them out. And it's just going to be a different level of interaction between us, between the elite people who save stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when they register again?
Email address.
How expensive is email? Are email ads? They're
Oh,
free.
yeah.
They're free.
I mean, if you're doing something like Aweber or MailChimp or one of those, it costs a little bit each month, right? But
For the platform.
for the
Yeah.
platform, but each email up to this big old limit, you won't run into it, is no extra cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So then now imagine like creating content that's specifically for the insiders group
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis, right? And this can be multi-purpose. We've got Josh Roy in the next 30 to 45 days going to be coming back here. We're going to be shooting some video content. And then eventually we're going to do the next 5 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do another recording session. Well, imagine now making sure that while we're in those things, when we're doing a shoot,
Mm-hmm.
or he's got like a big festival. He's doing a big festival with Lainey Wilson right now.
Mm-hmm.
3 days in March out in, it's called I think it's Party in the Desert or something like that. And it's a big 3-day festival, and Lainey Wilson's headlining one of them. And there's some other artists in there. I can't remember. Lainey's the most current one. And so that festival is going to be a bunch of people there, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, here's some content that's just for these insider people where you do something live. You can go live on a private Facebook group, right? To just that, interact with people. And maybe you're backstage with Lainey Wilson and you're like, hey, say hi to Lainey Wilson, or say, and now you're freaking, you're caching on that star power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're freaking on stage, right? And you're like, hey, everybody, like, say, and you get it first, right, on this thing. So what a great way to sort of identify the super fans, or somebody who likes something so much that they saved it.
Yeah.
And then how to get them their email and how to get them into a private group where you can stay in touch with them, keep them interested, and keep that repetition going through a different kind of interaction.
Very cool.
Drop the mic.
I like it.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, listen, man, if you want to learn more about this, I mean, the bottom line on the digital platform is that whoever owns the traffic rules the road. And so you've got to own the traffic, download whoever owns the traffic rules the road PDF. It'll get your head straight. It's giftfromjohnny.com, JOHNNY. Just tell me where to send it. It's free to use. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.